All right, gang. Hey, I'm Sherry Fredericks, and welcome to our Zoom Monday night call. It is October 18th, and I'm so glad you guys are here, and I'm glad that some of you are listening in. We'll be listening to the recording. We have a special guest, Connie Ashburn, and I will officially introduce her right before she talks. But welcome, Connie. We're so excited you're here with us.
Thank you. Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah. So, like I said, I'll officially introduce her right before she starts sharing information with us. Okay, so in true Zoom Taste Play Simple Dream Achiever style, we're going to start out with 2 victories. So who would like to share a victory Taste Play Simple related, please?
I have a party. My gal in Wyoming.
Oh, Elaine, you have a party. And
Good.
are you flying there? Or is it online?
No. I just send her stuff and she does the party.
Nice.
So when is it, Elaine?
Huh?
When is the party?
Like I should put it in tonight so she can start it.
Okay, so you're going to start it real soon.
She
All
sent me a cute little snap of looking in her beer bread. Elaine, I'm out of beer bread. Help.
There you go, Elaine. Well, good.
Sounds
I
like
know
she needs to become a consultant.
Well, I suggested that once, but then she said she just like dealing through me and her friends are used to it. And so
Well, you could always talk to her again.
get her again.
Mhm.
Maybe after Connie's words of wisdom, your tune will change. So thank you for sharing, Elaine. Who else would like to share a victory? Anyone?
I got a book from Jill in the mail today.
What?
Oh,
Oh, it's part of my
That,
loss
of my
leadership.
gift.
That's a good one.
is that your gold? Your gold? Let me see it again, Sheila. The 21 Eras.
Oh, John Maxwell.
Mhm.
What is that?
And she even signed it for me. Do you see that?
Oh,
That's cool.
I found out the other day she actually met John.
Hmm.
So
she met John Maxwell? Well, she has met
she
him
met John
before.
Maxwell, and we were talking about his different books, and she said, you know, when I met him the first time, I was angry with him. Like, really? She said, yeah, because a lot of he repeats things in his book. You know, there's some things that he just kind of carries over and over. So she's like, you know, if you're going to write books, write some different stuff. So I just thought it was really funny. She's something else. It was hilarious.
I was going to say,
So-
I'm pretty sure John Maxwell spoke in Alexandria. When we
Yeah, I
used
think
to
you did. I think you
Yeah, I've met him as well.
Mhm. That's a
But
big deal.
that, okay,
That's a big
so
deal.
Sheila, that's awesome. So that Tastefully Simple, just to remind everybody, Angie, did you get one?
Mm-mm.
So they just started with the gold, silver and gold gifts. So you had promoted before they started sending that out, Sheila. So our Angie, but that's awesome, Sheila. Thank you
Yeah.
for sharing. So now when you
Cool.
promote as a copper, bronze, silver, and gold, you will get a gift from Jill from Tastefully Simple. So that's really exciting.
I
So-
got a gift from Sherry, so that's what counted.
There you go. There you go. And the new gifts are gorgeous. I've seen
Oh,
them
no.
and they're really nice. Really nice.
Good.
Oh, good, 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 good. All right. So
New
thank
people.
you for sharing that. So next up is our product knowledge. So we have decided, or I have decided, to include product knowledge in our weekly calls because you know what? That's what ties us all together, right? We all love our products. So I'm going to share our creamy wild rice soup. Raise your hand if you love this product.
I have it and I haven't done it yet.
Ugh.
Connie,
Have you-
let me sell you on it.
Yeah, I have it, so
Okay.
I need to.
So
Okay, good.
prior to my Tastefully Simple days, I used to make homemade creamy wild rice soup. I do believe it's more of a Midwestern thing. I had a party the other night and there's a gal from Kentucky and she's like, I'm not a big fan of wild rice. But anyway, this soup is just add water. So Connie, I can't believe you haven't made it.
I know. I need to pull it out. I need to do it. My husband said the other day, when are you going to make that soup? So I need to do that.
Yeah, you really do. Now, guess what I
Okay.
made for dinner tonight? I was in Fargo today because I have knee surgery coming up and I went to my joints class. It was an hour and a half. I was like, are you kidding me? But anyway, so I planned ahead. How many of you made the creamy wild rice soup in your crock pot? Oh, good, a couple of you. This is awesome in the crock pot. And I will add frozen chicken. I suppose that's not like, you're not supposed to say that like code or whatever. But yeah, I just dump in a bunch of frozen chicken, not a
Wow.
bunch, like a pound or a half a pound of frozen chicken, keep it on low. And then when I came home, it was so thick and so yummy, and you could add other things to it. Also makes a great gift. During this time of the year, and I've already seen at vendor events, a lot of people grabbing our soups and a beer bread for a holiday gift. So creamy wild rice soup is perfect for yourself and your family, but also an amazing gift. So get the creamy wild rice soup in your tummy, Connie.
Okay, I will promise I will make it this week.
Okay, now let me just point out a couple things. So product knowledge. I really, and whoever does it next week, I'll send this to you, but features tell, benefits sell. So the features, I don't know if you picked up on that. Obviously, I said this is a creamy wild rice soup. You just add water to make it. Now, what were a couple of the benefits I shared?
Crock pot.
Crock pot. What else?
So thick and creamy.
Okay. Yep. It's like homemade. I don't even know if I said that, but that's what I implied. Another benefit is it's a great gift because it's so easy. So just remember when you can't do it on every single product, whether it's an online party or in person, features tell, benefits sell. And that is a quote from my favorite Sue Rush. But do remember that because it's really sales 101, features tell, benefits sell. So, all right, announcements. I didn't even have time, to be honest with you, I've been gone all day. Anything that we should all be knowing and talking about, it's the 18th of October. Anybody want to shout anything out as far as announcements for Tastefully Simple? Yep, okay. Well, if you think of anything, you can share it at the end. Otherwise, time is ticking, and we are so lucky and fortunate to have Connie Ashburn, Tastefully Simple's training manager, in the house. She's here with us. That's awesome. Connie has been with Tastefully Simple for 8 months. It's gone fast, hasn't it, Connie? And she does, as she said in the beginning, she does reside in South Carolina, but I know she travels to Tastefully Simple, I don't know, every quarter. I mean, it just depends on, she said. So I know she definitely does come to our lovely headquarters. So Connie is going to talk about sponsoring, and if you want to introduce yourself a little bit more, Connie, go for it. Otherwise, it's the ball is in your court.
All right, I got it. And I will honestly keep this to your time frame because I know how I am, especially this is like bewitching hour for me. I just got you to know. So 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Usually I'm in my pajamas by now. And so, but
You're an hour ahead of us.
honestly am honored. Yes, I'm an hour ahead of you guys. So it is a little bit later for me, but I'm honored to be here, Sherry, and certainly appreciate you asking. I have a tremendous respect for you, Sherry, and certainly what you've done in this company and for all of you that have been a part of Tastefully Simple. So I actually spent most of my life in Michigan. So born and raised Midwestern girl. And 13 years ago, my husband and I made a move to come to South Carolina. So my daughter actually went to college down here, and we knew when the kids were done with high school, we were ready to be done with the cold. I'll be honest, we wanted out. So when our second daughter graduated from high school, then we made the move to South Carolina. We had just been coming down here visiting my older daughter in college and went, I think we could live here. So it's been our home away from home, and I consider South Carolina now my home as well. And so I have one daughter that lives 4 miles from me. I have a grandson that's 4, and then my other daughter lives 7,000 miles from me in South Korea. So it's like, the worst having a child that far away. And I have literally seen her once in 2 years. It's just I could cry about that for a while if you guys wanted to listen to that. But, with COVID, we've not been able to visit, and they can't come here. And so it's just kind of a drag. But anyway, I spent myself 21 years in the field doing what all of you do. Started out, I left my corporate job, and, after our first daughter was born, was home for a year. And that's when I joined direct sales after I'd been home for about a year. So I will tell you my sponsoring story because I really want to encourage all of you to not be afraid to ask, for one thing, because I think that's probably the biggest thing that all of you deal with, is just not asking people. And so I think, when you think about situations that you've been in and you've had that little feeling like maybe I should talk to this person, and then something in your head tells you, no, don't do it. Don't do it. We probably are worst enemies when it comes to sponsoring. So I'm going to just share a couple of things with you tonight. I am not going to try to give you words to say and what to do, because I really do believe we have a lot of good training around the sponsoring, the whole mindset and what to do and what to say. So I want to change it a little bit from that, because you can go on my HQ, go on to the new sponsor gadget, hear all kinds of great training from some of your peers, some of the people around the company. I'm doing the sponsoring, what I'm calling mini series on the Monday Jumpstart. I've been doing that since the 1st of October. We're doing that all month long. So it's, 20, 25 minutes. And every week I'm telling you some stuff to say. So it's all there if you want to take the time to invest in that at all. So I want to ask you guys a couple of questions once I get into a little bit more of the training portion of it. But I actually went to a parenting class after I left my job. I thought, if I'm going to be home full time, I'm going to learn what it means to be a mom. Not that we don't know, but I thought there's probably a few things I need to learn. So I went to this parenting class, and when we left the class, there was a woman I met in the class, and she said, "You'd be great at what I do." And I just did the typical, "What do you do?" And she sold Discovery Toys, actually, is my first business. And so I just said, I just left a full-time job. I don't know what I want to be when I grow up. So I don't think the timing is right for me. And she said, "Do you mind if I keep in touch?" So when you think about those simple little things that get said to you, and I, of course, said, sure. She was very nice. I never knew her before, but I thought, sure, why not? So she got my contact information, and I'm telling you, like clockwork, every 3 months she would call me, and she would just say, "Has anything in your life changed that might allow you to look at our opportunity?" So 4 of those phone calls 1 year later, before I finally felt like I was ready for something, and she was there. So if there's any advice I could give you, is ask the question and then ask if you can follow up. It's that simple. If someone's not ready, the timing's not right for them, it's okay to say, "Can I stay in touch?" Because that one thing, and the fact that she did what she said she was going to do, made all the difference. And I can tell you, if she had made that one hit and run relationship builder with me in that few minutes that we conversed, and then I hadn't heard from her in that entire year, and that year later, when I felt like I was ready for something, but I didn't know what it was, there's no way I would have picked up the phone and called her. There's no way. So the fact is that she called me every 3 months and just checked in. During that time, we got to know each other. So at the point that I was ready, it felt easy and comfortable for me to make a decision to join the company and join her team. So I do believe sponsoring is all about building relationships, and it's not a hit and run experience. And if someone tells you no at first, it's not a no forever. I mean, I've seen it too many times in my own experience. So 21 years in the field, my last 9 have been in corporate with direct sales companies. So I've got 30 years behind me, and I absolutely love this industry. And why I'm always sharing, I have a piece of hair like that's in my eyeball. So if I keep doing something here, you guys will wonder, what is she doing? It's going right across my eye. It's driving me crazy. When Sherry asked me to talk about sponsoring, it is absolutely my favorite topic of all, because I feel like if I would never have sponsored, I would never have stayed in the business as long as I did. There's just no way. And the relationships that I built, the trips that I went on, and as a result of that, the people that I know all over the country, the amazing, amazing women that I would never have crossed paths with that are still good friends of mine, I would never have experienced any of that. So I just want to ask each of you, as you think about, I don't know how many Sherry here have sponsored. I don't know if they're at a leadership level, if you're brand new, if you've never sponsored someone, you've sponsored a few and maybe it didn't go so well. So I just want to say, when you start sponsoring, you're probably going to suck at it. You're not naturally knowing how to train and work with someone that is a volunteer workforce, which is what we all are. We all make a choice to be here. So sometimes I hear people say, I sponsored a couple of people and they just didn't work out. Maybe they never really got out off their, on track on anything. They didn't really get out of the gate very strong. And you kind of take that internally and feel like, you're not a good leader. But the fact is, you have to learn to be a leader. Don't you agree, Sherry? I mean, do you feel like now you're much better at it than you were when you joined this company 20 years ago?
Yes.
Yeah. So just know that it takes time. And as you sponsor and you bring more people on, the process gets easier and easier. And it does have its amazing rewards. There's no question. So I'll ask you, Sherry, just to not to put you on the spot, but do you think you would have stayed in the business all these years if it had just been you selling product?
Heck no.
I mean, you can make a great commission doing it. There's no question. We have a 40% commission level that you guys can earn, you know, for selling 3,000 plus. So it's not a bad way to earn some, you know, some cash. But the experience that you have when you start building a team and learning about your leadership abilities is a completely different type of experience. So I would just tell you the first year I was in the business, I didn't sponsor a single person. So I was in it to just sell. I was happy doing that. And I went to my first conference after I was in a year. And that's when I saw all of these women crossing stage. They were holding on to roses and they were, you know, being cheered for. And I just watched each one of them and thought, they're no different than me. You know, this can't be that hard. So I went home. I remember just thinking like, I felt like I learned that I was part of something really amazing. And I don't know that I recognized before that. So have everybody here been to a Party Palooza? Everybody? Anyone hasn't been? So there's some of you that have not been, or has everybody?
Only one. I think Hillary is the only one that hasn't yet.
Has not. Okay. Okay. So I don't have to preach to the choir on the other people, but I would just say to you that if you want to stay in the business and you want to build a team and hopefully sponsor, learn that part of the business, going to the conference, in my opinion, is probably one of the greatest things you can do, because it absolutely opens your eyes to the business, to the industry, to see the type of company that you're involved in, the corporate staff, meeting all the other leaders, seeing the type of women and people that are in this business and in this company. You can't experience that from your living room. So, and how many times, Sherry, do you feel like you're just kind of in that lull, and then you attend conference or you go to leadership and then you're just right back up again? You know, it just kind of revives you. So when you've got a business that you're working from home, it's important to just feed yourself. That's the way you do that. So anyway, I just thought at that point, why can't I? If they can do this, I can do this. And I came home from that conference and sponsored 6 people in 6 weeks. I mean, it was literally like, and all that changed is my belief system was strengthened and I started asking people. So I just wanted to ask you guys tonight, when you think about all the different things that you have been through with Tastefully Simple, is there a reason that any one of you wants to sponsor, build a bigger team, advance rank? What is it that you see sponsoring as a vehicle to accomplish? Is anybody willing to share? I'm going to pick somebody if you don't. Okay, Rebecca.
More money.
More money. That's a good one. That's a good one. Okay, anybody else? Twyla, if you're talking, we can't hear you because you're muted.
I was just commenting on hers, just agreeing with her.
That money, okay. Has anyone been a leader in their life role in some way? Rebecca, what? What'd you do?
I used to be the elementary honor choir chair for the state of South Dakota for 4 years.
There you go. Okay. What about anybody else? How many of you are parents? Yes, some, not some. So I think you have leadership capabilities, whether you realize it or not, no question about it. So let me ask then, if you think about the number of people that you are in front of on a monthly basis, do any of you know on average how many people you get in front of on a monthly basis? Anybody know? Estimate, guess?
600.
How many?
5,000.
600.
Okay, so
5,000.
you're probably answering to me like how many people might be in your VIP group or how many people might be your customer base. I'm asking how many people do you think you're actually in front of? And it doesn't have to be face to face. It can be this way, Facebook, whatever, on a weekly basis or monthly basis.
Monthly.
250.
250, you think? Because of the number of parties that you do?
Mathematical guess.
Okay. Okay. How about anybody else? Any idea?
2,400.
On a monthly basis. Elaine, what are you doing?
Just walking the streets, I guess.
Yeah. I asked that question for a reason, because parties are a method to sponsor people. And I did party sales to meet people that I could sponsor. I loved the commission I earned, but that was not where I saw my bread and butter at all. I saw it through the people that I would meet at those parties that I did. There was one point in my career that I did a 10-year study of stats. So I just went back through the previous 10 years to look at what I averaged in sales and what I averaged in sponsoring. My sales averaged out at $2,500 a month, and my sponsoring was 2.5 people a month on average over that 10-year period. So the reason I'm sharing that with you is because longevity and being in front of enough people on a monthly basis and consistently sponsoring is what built a massive organization for me. So if you're not aware of how many people that you are in front of every month, it's important to think about that, because the parties are your way of building that base that you're going to be basically sponsoring from. And if you're not in front of enough people on a monthly basis, it will be difficult for you to create consistent sponsoring. And so I would also ask any of you, and Sherry, maybe you can help me a little bit. How many of you are at a leader role already, copper or above, of course?
Yeah, raise your hand.
Isla, Sheila.
And Lisa would be raising her hand. Christy would be
Okay.
raising her hand. So at least half.
Okay, so at least half, they're already at a leadership level. So are you higher than copper or bronze? And the only reason I'm asking is just to get a sense of maybe how big your teams might be, whatever.
3
Okay,
of
so
them.
Twyla,
4 of them. Yep.
4, okay, would be basically silver or above, right?
Or 5. Yep. Did we lose
Okay.
Lisa? Oh, there she is. Yep.
Okay, awesome. So do you look at sponsoring on a consistent basis as far as setting a goal every single month of what you want to sponsor? Is that something that you work towards, or do you look more at your team sales? Like, what are you looking at from a goal standpoint?
I do both team sales and sponsoring every month.
Okay, for yourself personally?
Yeah.
Okay, so do you mind me asking what your goal is on a personal level for sponsoring?
1 a month.
1 a month, okay.
Mhm.
Do you mind if I poke at that a little bit?
No, poke away.
Good. Because I will just tell you, statistically, 1 a month is losing ground.
Okay.
So I just want to tell you that. So if you're setting a goal, I want you to set a goal that's going to push you a little bit more than just 1 a month, because you're probably not even meeting attrition, meaning you've got more people leaving than you've got coming in. So if you are someone that's interested in building income and you want to see, which I hope all of you do, your leadership bonuses rank your personal commission that you earn, that's hopefully what your goal is. So you can pretty much quantify how much you can earn with your personal sales based on our commission structure. But the other part of it with the leadership bonuses is a whole new game and a whole new ability to build income in a way that you can't necessarily always quantify. So you've got to, and I don't want to make this sound loosely, but you've got to throw a lot of spaghetti at the wall in order for some of that to stick. But if you keep doing that consistently, you're going to build some long-term income that's going to far exceed what you can earn on a personal commission level. Okay, so, and depending on what type of income desire you have, and I'm not asking anybody to share that, but I hope that it's enough that gets you to basically create some different habits for yourself and pushing you into situations that are maybe going to make you a little bit uncomfortable, but help you to really grow a healthy business. So they say basically 1 is really losing ground, 2, you're probably maintaining, and 3, you're actually growing. So if you can get yourself even to 2 a month consistently, and you're doing that, it's going to make a big difference, Angie, long-term for you. Okay. So I just want to challenge you. So when you think about that, if you're going to sponsor, have you been doing 1 a month consistently, do you feel you've been hitting that
I've
goal
been doing
pretty-
more than 1 a month. Yeah.
Oh, good, good. That's really good. So if you're already hitting more than one a month, then your goal should not be one a month. I'm just going to tell you.
Right.
Okay.
I
Okay,
know.
good.
And she does do 2 or 3 a month. I mean, that's,
Okay, so if
that's
you're
not
doing
a
that
lot.
already,
She's an
then you need,
overachiever.
Yeah,
you're not giving yourself enough credit. That's what it comes down
I
to.
don't know.
So, I mean, if you're really doing that consistently, then start, I'm going to just say, start looking at also how many of those people are qualifying and, you know, how well they're doing getting through Fast Start. And then once Fast Start ends, how well are they staying in? So evaluate all those things as you look at your sponsoring numbers. But the
Mhm.
first key, of course, is getting them in the door. And
Right.
so, you know, that's the one thing. And that's why knowing the number of people that you are in front of on a monthly basis is so important, because you can't sponsor enough people if you're only doing one party a month. It's not gonna happen. So it's interesting. Today we were on the Fast Start qualifiers call, and there was actually a lot of people that made Fast Start in September, meaning they were at the end of their 10 weeks and they had finished all 5 segments and you know, gotten all of the $250 bonus. There was 3 of them on there that had been previous Tastefully Simple consultants in previous years, and they had returned. And so we were kind of asking them what was the difference from before to now, and obviously online is a big piece of it. And I said, you know, if you'd been here 5 years ago as a consultant, would you have ever thought that you would have been able to generate the sales that you are in an online environment versus doing in-home tasting parties? And all 3 of them said no way. So we've entered into a whole new chapter here with, you know, being able to do our business in a new way. In my opinion, it should kick your sponsoring up considerably, because anybody can do that sitting from the comfort of their home. As you guys have experienced yourself with COVID being as it was, you probably have experienced a whole new level of business that you just didn't anticipate. So you've got an opportunity to reach an entire country now, instead of just your, you know, immediate area and how far it is that you were willing to drive before. If you're able to reach people and connect with people, you can pretty much do business in any part of this country that you choose. And so in that regard, you know, when you start talking to people, and whether it's guests, whether it's hosts, whether it's friends, start really thinking about, I remember my big growth happened when I started thinking about the country. I stopped thinking about how I was going to build Michigan. I started thinking about how I was going to build other areas of the country. So I started picking states. Like, I want to get somebody in Georgia. I want to get somebody in Indiana. I want to get somebody in Ohio. I started doing that. And then at my parties, which you guys can do the same thing, I started saying, who do you know in Georgia? I'm trying to build a team there. And believe it or not, I got referrals. I mean, it was kind of amazing. So I think it's just kind of opening your scope and your thought process to what's possible now, that you literally have everything in front of you with your computer or your phone, whatever it is that you're using. You've got the ability to communicate and connect with so many more people than we ever did 10 years ago. So any thoughts on that? I don't know how people are connecting with people outside of your immediate area, how well you're doing. Actually, another thing I want to tell you about this story today with the Fast Start qualifier, one of the women that was a returning consultant, she said some people have said to her, it's easier for you because you were here before. So she had some customers that knew about Tastefully Simple. So she shared a stat that she had her first month, she had 4 parties, I believe, and 3 of the people were people that had been previous hosts. So then she booked 7 parties in the second month. And out of that, 4 of them were brand new hosts. She's got 11 parties this next month. And out of that, 7 of them are brand new hosts. So I guess my point in telling you that is there's a lot of people out there. There's a lot of new people out there that have not heard of Tastefully Simple. And we just have to keep basically expanding our circles, no question, and asking a lot of people. So tell me, would anyone be willing to share like what you feel would be your biggest challenge or stumbling block when it comes to sponsoring? Is anybody brave enough to jump in? Hillary.
Sometimes overcoming objections. Sorry, Hillary.
No, it's fine.
Oh, I didn't even know who talked. Who talked then? Was that Rebecca?
It was Rebecca.
Okay. So I was looking at Hillary. I was thinking you were the one asking the question. All right, I'll come back to that. Rebecca, I'll do you first and then we'll come to Hillary. So overcoming objections. So what does that mean to you?
Well, sometimes I know what to say, but other times I don't know how far to push or dig or whatever to borderline, like, are they just being nice or I'm not getting
Right.
social cues or whatever. I mean, I know how to overcome most objections, but sometimes you're just like not sure where to stop. And that's probably where I need to do the like follow up, like you were talking about earlier with your story.
Mhm.
And I guess I was better about that in the past. And I haven't been very good about that lately, as in the last 2 to 3 years. Life is just kind of spirals out of control and I flailing at all ends, just trying to get my personal sales and get enough for the trip. That's kind of how I work my business. So
But you know full well that the trip is easier when you sponsor because you get a
oh,
lot of points
absolutely.
sponsoring people. Yeah. So it makes your job easier when you're building a team, building income, and then obviously getting extra points for the trip. So the objections, I would say, is probably one of the biggest things that people struggle with, because when someone does throw that first flag up, it's really sometimes hard to overcome it. So I'll just give you a couple pointers. I don't think it's gonna like completely explode your world by any means, but I would just tell you to always think about sponsoring as a conversation. It's nothing more than that. And when you become curious about people and asking questions about their life and about their kids and about their busyness and whatever else it might be, it just becomes so much easier. When you get over the point of feeling like you have this presentation to give someone about the business when they ask a question, it gets a little challenging. But when you think about just asking questions, if you can get good at that, the rest of it becomes easier. So as an objection comes up, sometimes we're not sure what to say right away. And so we just kind of shut down, or we say thanks and we walk away, or we hang up, or whatever it may be. And if you can just use some transition statements, those help you to kind of collect your thoughts quickly. Because sometimes, I've heard people umpteen times tell me, I can't think as fast as you do. It just rolls off your tongue. You just happen to be able to say whatever. And it's only because I've practiced a lot and I've been told no, like lots of times, hundreds and hundreds of times. But so you just get more comfortable with, I come from a place that I really believe what I have to offer people is amazing. And I do believe everybody should be involved in direct sales in some way. I have a thorough belief of that in my heart and in my head. And it's because I think it's a business that just opens the doors for so many things for people, from personal development to relationship to income to travel to places they've never been. I mean, there's so many things. If you guys made a list of the pros of being part of a business like this, you probably could come up with a page of things. So I don't have any shame. I don't have any embarrassment. And I did in the beginning. I'm not going to tell you I started out this way, but I have no shame and embarrassment about asking someone if they'd like to be a part of this company and a part of this business. So the first thing is build your belief. I mean, that's important. And that's why going to leadership and attending our conferences and being part of the training calls and all of those things and anything that Sherry offers, because your belief system has to be strong. So in the case with you, Rebecca, when something comes up like that, just say, tell me more about that. They're super busy. They've got 12 kids. They have busy children. Their spouse travels. They've never done anything like this before. I don't care what it is. Just tell me more about that. I'd like to know about your busyness, because I want to try to see. I find more people say no because they don't know enough about what we do. And I would say that to you if you threw up an objection to me. So I'd like to just have a little more conversation with you so you can learn a little bit more about what we do. And maybe if this doesn't fit for you, you might have somebody in your life that it does fit for. So do you mind taking an extra 10 minutes where we can just talk a little bit about what it would take? So, and when someone tells me they're super busy, they don't have a lot of time, I want to always come back with a question like, how much time do you think it takes? Because people don't really know. So if you don't ask enough questions and try to get some more information drawn out of them, you're going to end up, hitting that roadblock that you don't know how to get around. So anyway, Hillary, what were you going to say?
I did attend Party Palooza, but it was virtually, just FYI. So I've tried,
Okay.
and the lead's strong too. But I do struggle, kind of like with Rebecca said. I feel like I'm pushy. Like, how do you tap into that genuineness to get on that same plane where it's not so fake sounding, where it's not, you're not trying to sell them, but you're trying to connect with them.
Right.
That's a big struggle for me, is it's like, I don't want to lose the person as a friendship, lose the person as a client. But I
Say
would
it
love
then.
them to join, you know?
All right, say that exact thing, Hillary. I want to have you think about pushy, because I would tell you there's probably 90% of the people that are coming to this business that have said that once or twice in their career, no question. So I think about a pushy situation that I've had personally that was a car salesman. And I know the car salesman is a, story everybody tells, but I have mine. I went into a dealership one time. I was ready to buy a car, a Sebring convertible. I knew exactly what I wanted. I knew what color I wanted. I was not ready to buy that day. So I walked into the dealership to check the car out, see what they had. And that salesman sat me in his office. And I'm telling you, in an hour and a half, he wouldn't let me get up. I felt very caged, basically, and pushed. And I ended up buying the car. He got me what I wanted. I got the car. I was happy. I was going to make it anyway, but I walked out of that dealership mad at myself because I let that salesperson do that to me. So even though it ended up exactly how I wanted it to, it didn't feel good. So I just want to ask any of you, and you specifically, Hillary, do you ever feel like you do that to anybody? Probably not.
No.
No,
Mm-mm.
no. So if you have someone that you see value in the business for a reason, a friend of yours, like you said, you don't want to ruin a friendship, you don't want to do any of that. I would say to somebody like you, Hillary, if you were a friend of mine, I want to make sure we understand that our friendship is more important than anything. But I'm really excited about this company. I love what it's done for me personally. I love the extra income I've earned. Are you open to us, like me, sharing you a little bit about this company with you? Are you open to that? So if you just kind of approach it honestly, how you're feeling with some of those people that you know well, they will respect that. I will tell you for sure. And so, and sometimes if you just feel even like you can't even do that, say, Hillary, I am looking for people in your area, and I'm just curious if you know of anybody. I will tell you that I sponsored my strongest leader by asking someone, who do you know? And so even if you want to do an indirect approach, do you know of someone that might be interested in doing what I do? And would you be open to just taking 10 minutes for me to share a couple of things with you that I think would be important for you to know? Because there might be somebody in your life that this could really work for. So even an indirect approach like that sometimes can work. But what I want to encourage all of you is build the belief system, really understand, what you have in front of you. Everybody's got something that you have probably gained or learned or experienced that it's pretty amazing when it comes to Tastefully Simple and your business opportunity. And so you just have to get comfortable over the fact that you are really, I looked at myself as someone that was really trying to help people. That was my number one goal. So whether it was to overcome a financial challenge, maybe it was to get out of the house because they had young kids and they were going insane. Maybe it was just because they wanted to travel. Maybe they wanted to experience something, whatever it might be. I felt like I had something that could probably solve just about anybody's, personal woe. I had a way to do that through the business. So I think when you start to come from a place of support and trying to help someone, through a challenge they might be having, and not, trying to push an opportunity that they're not ready for, you just have to come from that place. And many, many times I would say to somebody, this may not be for you. And if we have this 20-minute conversation about this business and it doesn't work for you, I can assure you at the end of it, we're going to still be friends. And I'm okay if you say this isn't the right time or this doesn't work for you. I am totally okay with that. So just put that out there. Doesn't hurt at all. Sherry, anything else you would want to throw in there at all? And I know I will probably time to wrap up since it's 9:40.
I don't know.
I always say I'm not going to go over, but then I could talk about this for the next 2 hours. I can tell you that for sure.
You could,
So-
and I know you very well could. No, I think it's great what you said. And I would just say, Hillary, I've also said, even like when I book parties is, what, I'm not pushy, so I think what Connie is saying is you can say your fear out loud.
Yeah,
You
you
can
can.
say, I'm not pushy. If you say no, that's totally fine with me. I say that even with booking parties, like when I'm at parties, and so you can do the same thing with sponsoring. So good advice, Connie. And good question.
Yeah, I think it's just one of those things you just have to ask. I don't know until I ask. I mean, I may not know you well enough, or if I do know you well, I think you'd be a really great fit because, but I just have to ask because I really do love what I'm doing. And it's just an opportunity for me to share that with other people. And the only way I can do that is if I put this out there. So that's it. I think it's just getting comfortable with the fact that, you're not expecting anybody to do anything that they don't want to do. It's that simple. And you're never going to put somebody in a position where they feel backed in a corner and they have no choice. But what I would say is if they're not ready for whatever reason, that they give you an opportunity to ask again. And that's really where you have to ask permission. Is it okay if I follow up with you in a couple of months just to see if anything in your life has changed? Because we know cyclically people's lives change a lot. And so something just shifts in their life and all of a sudden they need what you have and you've got to be the one there to offer that. So once you ask for permission, if it's okay for you to call back, it's so much easier the next time. So if you remember, Hillary, we talked a couple of months ago and I'm just checking back with you. I mean, it's such an easier conversation than if I just try to hit you up again 3 months later and I never said anything to you when we had that first conversation other than you're not interested. Okay, good. So just gets easier.
And Connie, I would just add too, for me personally, it's taking the time.
Mhm.
So some of you here on this call might be like, I don't have the time, or you're not taking the time. So just challenge yourself to take the time and ask those questions. And we actually have a challenge for you. Do you want to
Mhm.
share what it is, Connie?
Well, we were going to do a challenge where we were going to encourage you, if you remind me if I'm saying this wrong, Sherry, that we were going to encourage you to reach out to 10 people, right?
Yep.
Okay. And she has a hashtag you're going to use. Did you decide on the I did 10?
Yep. So we'll share that on the team page. And once you've reached out to 10 contacts by the end of the week, so like Sunday night, you can share it on the team page, hashtag I did 10.
I did 10. Yep.
Yep, I'm standing up because I've been gone all day. I'm super antsy. I'll put it in the comments and I'll put it on the team page as well. But we've done many challenges, you guys, and it's such an easy way to track. And you can share it whenever you've achieved it. So hashtag I did 10. And that's
So,
why.
and go ahead, Sherry. Sorry.
Go ahead. I just typed it in the comments. Go ahead, Connie.
Oh, good. I was just going to say that if you're not sure, you're making either some private messages through Facebook, maybe you're texting some people, maybe you're actually picking up the phone call and calling someone. If you're not really sure what to say and how to start that conversation, that's what this Monday Jumpstart mini series has been about. So I would encourage you to, do the search for hashtag Monday Jumpstart 10/04, 10/11, 10/18 today's, and just take that time to listen to some of those things because the first week was all about conversation starters. So simple things that you can say to, reaching out to somebody, whether you want to do it through a text message or through a phone call, that will at least get that conversation going. And so that's basically, I think that's probably the hardest thing for you when, you get a challenge like this to call 10 people. It's like, what am I going to say? So I think there's a lot of really good word choices out there on those trainings that we did this past couple of weeks that might help you with that. The 11th is specifically about the sponsoring conversation. So if you're looking for conversation starters in particular, I'd focus on the one from 10/4. That will probably give you a good start to do some of those reach outs this week to meet the challenge of 10.
And I'll just remind everybody what Connie's talking about is on the Independent Taste Play Simple Consultant Facebook page, which I believe you're all a part of. And so Connie does these cool jumpstart on Mondays at 10 a.m. And like she said, they're recorded, so you can check out all that information. So.
And this year, we do different topics every Monday, but this month we're focusing on sponsoring. And so it's every week has been something specific about sponsoring and team building. So hopefully that'll be a little bit of a jumping off point for you to get comfortable with some conversation starters.
Excellent. And do you guys know why we said 10? Anybody want to reply to that? Great.
That's a good question.
Why did we say 10 a week? Sheila.
Probably averages.
Rebecca. Well, usually when you talk to 10 people, you're going to get one.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It used to be 5, but probably more realistically, it's 1. So if we want to see your team grow, which we do, and I know you do
Yes,
too,
we do.
that's why we picked 10. So it's a numbers game. You know, when I've had many coaching calls with people and they want to sponsor and they've talked to 2 people and they're just waiting. It's like, go find more.
Yeah.
It's only $49 to join you guys. What's my
Well, when
big-
you think
Oh, sorry.
about, sorry, I was just gonna say that Elaine and I think Twyla, both of you shared some pretty big numbers of, I assume, like the customers that you've accumulated over the years. So sometimes when you think, oh, I don't know who to call, I don't have anybody to call, you have a lot of people to call. I mean, a lot. So any one of those customers that are clients that have done business with you, that you can be sending out a simple reach out message to say, I'm trying to build your area. I'm looking for people like you. I mean, there's so many different ways that you can start that conversation, but you've got a lot of people just sitting right in your hand that you're probably not tapping into. So.
Excellent. Well, Connie, thank you so much. Well, I'm gonna stop the recording only because I think I only have so much time. Are you sure? Yes.